Jess hates when I go, should we just have like girl time? She's like, no. Anywho,
That's you flirting.
yeah. Oh yeah. That's me. It's, me throwing it out there.
Dude, I've been getting all these videos of like grandmas dropping it low.
What is your TikTok algorithm over there?
Well, first of all, I don't have TikTok, but like on Instagram, people send me these videos of like grandmas dropping it low.
Interesting.
And I'm like, Grandma, no. But I'm more horrified that they can drop it that low and that their knees are that good, because my knees would be popping and locking.
My knees are popping and locking right now.
If I drop it low, I ain't getting up, honey. Why? How? I'm like, I get knee envy when I see these videos. These grandmas.
If we had subheadings for these episodes, this would definitely be Jihan Sabir knee envy. That are you ever gonna have a one woman show? It should be that.
One woman show. Isn't that what my stand-up is?
You would think. And then all these stand-ups are like, I'm doing a one person show, and I'm like, is that different?
Well, I went to school for musical theater, so I've always thought about, like, I've always wanted to incorporate that aspect of my talent with my comedy. I just haven't figured out how to do it in a way that I'm not cringing.
So we're going to be talking a lot more about that. Before we go any further, I want to talk about the tea we're drinking for the folks at home. For the folks at home, we're drinking a tea by Peru, which P-A-R-U, which is a La Jolla-based tea company in California. This is their Reserve Caramel Red, which is a Vietnamese black tea. It's really fantastic. I love this. This is the first time I'm having it, and I think it's phenomenal. Do you like it? Cheers to you. Love that. And for those steeping at home, this can be steeped. This is a boiling 3 minutes is what this is. Don't oversteep this one, I will say, especially if it's your first steeping, because it will be very caffeinated if you oversteep.
Yeah, and then actually the black is good. You don't need to steep it too long, because the longer you steep it, the more bitter it gets. It gets all those little bitter.
That is correct.
So you got to keep it light, keep it right.
Okay, I say keep it right, keep it tight a lot.
Well, for this tea, you keep it light, keep it right.
Keep it light, keep it tight. This is also for those that, if you're going to be getting this has pretty high oxidation. So if that's your thing, I like it. I think it tastes amazing, and you chose it.
Yeah.
I want to get back to you. I don't think I knew that you had a musical theater background, but it totally makes sense to me.
You can't tell?
Yeah. Who me? I also did a lot of musical theater.
Oh, yeah?
Can you tell?
Shocker.
I know.
Oh, my God. Have you seen that theater camp movie? I want to see it so bad.
On my list. I'm dying to see it.
I want to see it so bad, because I just know it's just going to be on point about all the ridiculous things that happen.
Did you go to theater camp?
I never went to theater camp, but I know it's the same as just being in high school theater.
Correct.
Like, it's the same nonsense.
I also have a soft spot for Ben Platt, so I'll kind of see anything he's in.
I haven't seen that show that he got big on.
Dear Evan Hansen?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It was wonderful.
Haven't heard it.
It's Pasek and Paul are the composers, and they did an incredible job. They also did the La La Land music.
Oh, see, I didn't see that.
Okay, did you see Moonlight?
Yes, I saw it at before they closed that ArcLight. I saw it at the ArcLight.
I missed the ArcLight too.
I mean, the last movie I saw there, I saw in the Dome, and I saw How to Train Your Dragon 3. It was great.
Love the How to Train Your Dragons.
They're so good.
I truly. I have a niece and nephew who are gonna be very, very soon to be 4 and 2. I would say like in 6 months. It still counts.
Oh, hold on. You said 4 and 2.
Yeah.
In my mind, put all those together and said they were going to be 4 and 2.
Oh.
Like foreign. I'm like, well, are they moving?
The 2-year-old thinks I am foreign to her. I don't think she really gives me any benefits of the doubt there. I don't think she's like, when I walk in, she doesn't go, oh, Josh is here, you know? She's like the sweetest girl in the whole wide world. But you know, she'll recognize me at some point. But I told my sister, I was like, I cannot wait till they're old enough that they want to see kids movies, because I love a 3D animated movie. Sign me up. I'll take them to anything, unless it's a Cars movie. I don't really care for those. But like, A How to Train Your Dragon, I'll take him to. A Paddington, any Pixar thing. You know, there was something about a Dragon Hunter, I think, last month. I would have gone to see that. Or Dragon something, some kind of hunter. I don't really know, but I would have seen
that Kraken movie that just came out.
Kraken, that's what I'm thinking. Dragons, Krakens, you know.
Yeah, I love Pixar movies, although they've had some misses lately. Not total misses, but like I haven't seen like at least the last two.
Last two Pixars?
Yeah, I haven't seen them.
I've told
I want to see Elemental though.
I do too. I've told the story on the pod before, so I will make it fast. During the pandemic, a movie by Pixar came out called Soul.
I saw it.
I watched that movie. I have never, ever cried so hard.
Wow, you cried at Soul.
I cried at the end of Soul. I cried incredibly hard.
Wow.
And to the point where Jess was hugging me, trying to console me, and
sweet.
it was one of the funniest moments we've ever had in our relationship. In a very sing-songy, like, but not mean way, she goes, "I don't think this is about the movie anymore," and I was just like you know, just like rubbing my back, and
she's spot on. That
yeah,
girl. She's very intuitive.
100%. I mean, well, you know, Soul.
You're like, it's me.
Yeah, I mean, Soul is about a dreamer.
Yeah, struggling artist.
Yeah, who
Hello,
you know,
welcome to Los Angeles.
Yeah, exactly. and I used to be a musician, and I studied jazz in college, so like I really related to him, and I felt for him, and so my heart broke for him, and I just thought a lot about my own journey, and it broke me down. I really just I was done. I sobbed.
I think the last Pixar movie like I genuinely teared up at was Coco.
How can you don't have a soul if you didn't get emotional with Coco.
Yeah, I feel like that's the last like really good Pixar movie in the last few years. That one was so good to me.
I mean, I loved Soul. Apparently,
I didn't think
not.
Soul was bad.
Okay.
I thought it was fine. I didn't watch it again.
I can't. I won't.
I only watched it the one time, but I'll watch Coco all the time.
I won't watch that either. I have a dead dad. I can't afford to be watching that on the regular.
You should be watching that. It's a beautiful way to teach children about death.
Yes, but I already know about death. I don't need to relearn
know, so
it.
why learn it? But he's already dead. What's gonna happen? If anything, it gives you hope because it's like, oh, you can do this tribute to him every year and remember all the good things, the positive things, his favorite things he
That's true.
loved.
That is true.
That's what it is. You know what I mean? Also, I love Mexicans. I love Mexican culture, and so I love that.
I love how you're throwing it in. So if any Mexicans are listening, I love Mexicans.
I do. I grew up around Mexicans. My best friend's Mexican. Like,
wait, so we were talking about this off mic earlier, and apologies because I think we've talked about this before. So you grew up in the Bay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, if that makes sense now, what brought you down here?
College.
So you were like, I'm going to LA to study musical theater?
Correct.
Where was it? Was it USC, UCLA? Where were you?
No, I went to a small performing arts college called the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. Sounds fancy? Was not. Please don't.
I was going to say, that sounds really fancy.
It sounds so
How
fancy.
How did you know that's what I was going to say?
It pays more because everyone thinks it sounds so fancy. They made it such a mouthful.
It's so fancy. When you... I really just want to hear. I know I have like another question, but I just really want to hear you sing. And I'm not going to make you sing on the pod. Are you an alto, soprano? What are you?
I'm a mezzo soprano.
Oh, makes sense. I'm a baritone. I'm a tenor 2 wannabe.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. We all are. Wait. Okay. So you came down here and you were doing that. How did you? Because you're so funny. How did you? You didn't originally come to do comedy.
No.
What? How did you go from
I
being
never wanted to do comedy,
like a star of the stage, to comedy?
So I did. I went to college here, and then I moved back to the Bay.
Oh,
and then
okay.
I did theater for like 4.5 years, and then I moved back to LA. Decided I wanted to do something new, and I was gonna attempt at on-camera acting. But like it was so foreign to me. Like I had always like for theater, I can get my own jobs. I know when all the auditions are, like the tour auditions, the regional theater all that stuff. But like film and TV, it's like, oh, you have to have an agent.
Yeah.
You have to have a manager.
Terrible.
It's like it's a whole different system.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is before like, Twitter and TikTok. I know people have gotten stuff from that. But like
so
this wasn't like
rare.
a big thing then. And so I was like, all right, I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach myself to write. So I'd watch like my favorite sitcoms and I would just see how they structure the episodes. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I just started writing and I wrote a web series for myself, obviously, because it's like, you know, why wouldn't you?
What it's called. What are we working with here?
Right. And so like I was writing all this stuff, but I was like, is this funny? Like, I don't know. So I reached out and I just like on Facebook, I was like, hey, like, is there anyone out there who wants to like read my stuff? Like, I don't know if it's funny. And my friend reached out to me. He's like, I have a friend who does comedy and she also writes. I'll link you guys and maybe she could read your stuff. I was like, okay, great. So I meet with this girl and it was Jill Chrissy. Do you know Jill?
That name sounds familiar, but no.
She's a comic.
Okay. Well, I figured, yeah.
But we both went to AMDA, American Musical and Drama Academy.
Oh, I've heard of it. Real regal place. Yeah, fancy.
Not fancy. And so we went at different times though. But we had a mutual friend who we all went to AMDA. It just like, you know, I left before she came and then he was like in the overlap. And so she like read it and she's like, oh, this is great. This is fun. I have this open mic if you ever want to come and just read it on stage just so you can hear it out loud. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe. And I was like, hell no, I don't want to do that.
And it was Sal's Comedy Hole, Saturdays.
No. You know where it was though? Hollywood Hotel.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. It was Hollywood Hotel. So one night I was like bored. I didn't have anything to do. And I was like, oh, that girl has that mic she told me about. I'll just go check it out. I had no intention of reading anything.
You didn't bring the script with you?
No. Okay. I just was going to hang out because I didn't have nothing to do.
Yeah.
And so I go there and I just watched comic after comic get up there.
Just bomb.
And it was so bad. And I was like, I can do this. And so I just go up there.
Wait a minute. You went up with nothing?
Yeah, I didn't kill or anything, but I got enough of a chuckle that I was like, oh, I like this. I like being on stage is very comfortable for me.
Sure.
And it was very familiar, that aspect of it. And I was like, oh, maybe if I like work at this, I could be good. So then, and then I started doing comedy. But I had no intention of doing stand-up. Like I was never as a kid, I'm going to be a stand-up. Like that's my thing. Like I'm going to be a stand-up. I was like, no, I was going to be on Broadway.
I could see you being such a ham as a kid. Am I right?
Not really.
Really?
No. Later but as a young child, I was very shy.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have imagined you as a young child with like the biggest smile, and like anytime there was like a quiet moment, you would have just like burst into song. That would have been my guess about
that was
you.
Me later though, like middle school.
You're like, no, I got into it. I did. I got there. I got there.
Middle school, something happened. I can't even tell you. I can't tell you like what the moment was or anything, but something happened like in between like 6th grade where I just decided like, oh, you don't get what you want by being shy. So like,
what a revelation to have in 6th grade.
I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly when that happened. Like exactly.
Sure.
But I do remember thinking like, when you're quiet, you don't get what you want. So you just have to just be like, it's not that you have to be like the loudest person in the room, but you can't just be like in the corner, shy, afraid to talk to people and get what you want or what you need. Like you're never going to accomplish what you actually want if you're quiet, you know?
I have a demented version of that story, which is like at 11, 12. Mm-hmm. I discovered flirting. I didn't know what it was.
How sweet.
But what I realized, I remember having the realization that if you just want to like be playful with somebody, you can kind of signal to them that you like them.
That gets dangerous, Josh.
Well, yes. Well, then I ended up becoming like a big flirt, and all that stuff. But like, I do remember having that revelation, and I was kind of like, oh, this is fun. But what's interesting is once I like got out of the idea of just like, oh, it's like to signal you like people, I also realized at a very young age it broke down barriers, even with like adults. Like if you're kind of like playful with adults. Mm-hmm. Like my grandma first started being nice to me once I started being more jokey with her. Once I cause she was like not very nice when we were younger, cause she was one of those grandmas. I think some grandmas just don't know how to deal with kids, but know how to deal more with adults.
Yeah. Like they're not here for the young kid nonsense.
Right. So she wasn't. But I remember the next time I saw her, I again, I was like 12. I saw her and I go, oh, you didn't have to get your hair done for me. And
That's cute.
And she starts laughing and she goes, I get it done every week. And I go, but this week seems like you really put it on, you know? And she started laughing. And I remember going, oh, she's nice to me when I'm jokey with her. And that's when I really like started leaning into it. I was like, you can kind of be jokey with anyone. And they're kind of like, will just start being nice. And I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, you know, it's so much easier to be nice to people. To me, I think
you're like, be nice to me.
Well, and to me, you should be nice to me. But
yeah,
yeah, like, you know, being mad and mean to people, it's just like not it.
No, I remember because I don't remember exactly the first time we met, but I do remember in the first couple of times meeting you, what you did, which I loved, is you were like, we didn't do a thing where it's like, hi, I'm Jihan. Hi, I'm Josh. You're like, yeah, we see each other a lot. We should just like be friends. And I was like, oh, what a relief, you know, because sometimes you have to take that weird jump of like, well, I have seen you like 7 times at different mics and I know your jokes, but I guess we haven't officially met. You know what I mean? It's like, so when you say you're shy or you were shy, I'm like, in what world?
Well, in certain situations, I can definitely like sit back and like.
Still?
Yeah.
Really?
It just depends. Like, you know, sometimes, especially being around comedians, in certain settings, everyone's like this kind of personality. So sometimes there's so many, like we don't need to all be at 10. So I'll just like I'll sit back sometimes and then I'll come in and out. Yeah. But I could easily like sit back and just like enjoy all the nonsense that comics do.
Well, what I like about you, and I think that I'm similar, I believe, is that like you and I both know how to turn it off. We're not sitting there being like bits and doing riffs and jokes.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like I can't, like it's fun. Don't get me wrong, like it's fun. But there are some times where I want to be like, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. Like, how are you? How are things?
You liked the message I sent you to be on this pod?
Oh, we're about to get into that.
I was like, let's dish.
So for those that are listening, you're not going to know the history that we have. One of my favorite things to do with you was we would run into each other and just dive right deep into just like, so who are you seeing? Are you seeing anyone? I'm seeing this person. Who are you? And just go into it because it was much more fun than like sitting doing nonsensical like bits with other comics. Yeah. Like that got so boring. Yeah. But we love to goss, but I haven't gotten to see you in a while.
I know.
Am I allowed to ask about your current sitch?
Correct. Yes.
What's going on, girl? Who you seeing? And we're diving in, by the way. We're gonna get the how you met and all this stuff. How long have we been with this gentleman? Let me start with that.
4 months.
4 months. Okay. And we like him.
Oh, we love him.
Did we already use the words?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I wonder this, because I feel like we are not so far apart in age. Mm-hmm. When I was like 21, mm-hmm. I was like, I'm not going to say I love you for a year. Like I was scared. Right. I was scared of it.
Oh, for sure. 30s hit different.
I was about to say. In your 30s, I think you very like...
Within
a short amount of time.
You're not questioning. You in your 20s, you don't know who you are. So you don't trust any decisions that you make, which you shouldn't. Mm-mm. But like by 30, you're like, oh, okay, this is who I am. This is who I want to be.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
And so basically I decided after the Mountain Man. And then I had another fling after that. That was a disaster.
I never cared for. I don't know this other fling, but I don't care for him.
Yeah.
No, gross. Don't even give him airtime. Keep going. Don't even care.
I decided at the beginning of the year, I did like a little witchy thing. I love calling a white woman witchy thing, but I mean, it's not really, but I like calling it that because it's funnier.
You're going to have to go into the detail of what this was. Did you light some candles and like say a prayer? What happened here?
Kind of. So what I do is I buy those paper lanterns, you know, that people release when like someone dies or at a wedding or something. But this last time I did it, no one was at the beach because I do it on New Year's Eve. And
do you do it alone?
No, I did it with 2 of my friends.
Okay.
And we went to a really nice beach in Malibu, and no one was there. Like we went in the evening, and it was like dark. like we had to use our flashlights and stuff. And what we did was one lantern, everyone writes all the bad things that happened in that year and that you want to let go of. And we release that. And we're like, bye, you're out of here. And then everyone gets their own individual lantern and you write all the things you want to come to you in the new year. So like all the positive things you want to come to you, and then you release it to the universe. So we did that. And I just like changed my mindset. I'm like, girl, you're finding your husband this year. So
hey, okay.
So I updated my hinge.
Yep.
And like I changed all the stuff and, you know, put some new pictures up, put some new prompts up, and I was like super specific about what I wanted. I was like, I'm looking for a monogamous life partner.
Yeah.
You know? And every guy who liked me, if I like them back, the first question I'm like, oh, thanks for the like. So what are you looking for here? Like, what are you looking for on here?
That seems like a very reasonable question.
Yeah. And some guys were like, oh, I'm just looking for a casual thing. I'm like, oh, you didn't read my profile, but have a nice life.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, nope.
Yep.
And so I dated a lot of different dudes, like, not like, you know, we weren't in all relationships. We just went on dates.
You were just like seeing what there was out there.
Correct.
Yeah.
And asking them all the tough questions, like right up front. And you know what? That was really useful because you really saw like who was playing and who wasn't. You know what I mean? Like who got scared, who the spooked ones, and the ones who were like, yeah, oh, you know, I never thought about that. You know, and they're wanting to have a conversation about it. But I was like immediately like, what do you want? What are you looking for? How do you feel about marriage?
Yeah.
How do you feel about kids?
Yeah.
What's your relationship with your family?
That's another big one.
Yeah.
I'm shocked politics and religion haven't come in.
You know, I don't care about that stuff, but
Interesting.
I don't really care about that. But, you know, as long as you're not like a Satanist, it's fine. But I don't know if I could deal with that.
You know.
Yeah, that's not my thing. But other than that, I don't really care. But this particular person, I was dating this other guy actually for like a month. We had been going on dates.
Okay.
And I was thinking like, oh, maybe we should be exclusive, you know, because we have a lot of fun on our dates. But politically, we were kind of weird because he was really into politics and I'm not.
Okay.
And so I could already feel there was going to be like some tension.
That can be a divider.
And I don't want there to be tension, but it would be tension on his side because he wants me to like believe what he believes. And I don't care. So I asked him that question. He's like, I need a little time. I was like, that's fine. Because I wasn't entirely sure about it. I just really was kind of like fatigued with dating. Really.
Yeah. Oh,
That's really what it was, right?
Tiring.
And I was like, and we have fun. So like, why not? And then I met my boyfriend like 2 days later. And I was like, oh, okay. I like this guy. And then we started talking. We were messaging for like a day. And then he asked me on a date. And then I was like, okay. But I couldn't go on a date until the following week. So then on that Friday, I was like, would you be open to a video call?
Yeah, that's fair.
Just to shake off the awkwardness before we meet, you know? And he's like, yeah. And we got on our call at 9:30 at night and we got off at 3:30 in the morning.
Are you kidding me right now?
No.
Your first conversation,
Craig.
and I'm not including messaging, your first voice-to-voice, face-to-face, was 6 hours long?
Correct.
Were you, after you got off that call, are you just like, oh, this is the real thing?
I didn't say that, but I was like, this is weird. Like, because it's crazy how much we had in common.
Yeah.
So you know all that's you're like religion and politics?
Well, I was going to say, I'm not religious at all, but yeah.
No, I know. But when you were saying that, like those topics,
Yeah,
like I don't really care about those topics, but somehow we aligned on all of it.
Interesting.
We aligned on that.
Yeah.
Spiritual, like politics, our approach to politics, kind of like, you know, I'm kind of laissez-faire about it. And then some things I'm like, but you know, I'm open. Like more open. Like I'm open to change my mind. You know?
Yeah. Well, I legitimately think that everybody should be.
But some people are not. So
That's true.
And that was the issue I had with that other guy. I was really concerned about that. Like if we had kids, like it would be like a huge issue of like how we raise our kids. And so that was something that was like really in my mind. But this one, no. And but yeah. And then our first date, you know, was another 6 hours. You know, I think we met for dinner, early dinner, like 4:30, and I left around 10. So. Yeah. And then after that, I was just like, oh, yeah, I don't think I want to date anyone else.
I want to keep talking about him. We need to get to our
Oh,
first
we have
segment.
to get to our segment.
But I know, trust me, we're coming right back. The first segment is called the Newly Friend Game.
Okay.
It's like the Newlywed Game, but
Correct.
we're friends. Well, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
You're not going to tell me your answer. You're going to write it down on your board right there.
All right.
But don't show it to me. I'm going to write down what I think your answer is, and then we will flip our boards and see if we had the same answer, and then we will do a question for me. Now, my question for you, before today,
All right.
I didn't know that you were a musical theater gal.
Ooh.
A musical theater girly, if I may, because we're both just musical theater girlies. Jess hates when I go, should we just have like girl time? She's like, no. Anywho,
That's you flirting.
yeah, oh yeah, that's me. It's, me throwing it out there. Okay, so for your question, I'm going to ask, what is your favorite musical of all time? Don't tell it to me. Write it down.
Oh, that's a hard one. Okay.
But yes, what is your favorite musical? Oh, I mean, should I do all time? Yeah, we'll do all time. That is tough.
I don't know if I have it all time. I have it by periods.
Well, pick one of them, because yeah. Well, I'm not going to tell you why I'm going to write what I'm going to write, but I think this might.
I think this is going to throw you, actually.
I don't think I'm going to get it right, but I'll explain why, and then I thought there's an outside shot of one of these. I'm not going to give myself points if I get one of these, but I thought
You're putting multiple answers. That's not fair.
Well, I said I'm not going to give myself credit if I get either one of those. I'm just saying these were ones I thought it might be, but I didn't write it.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so flip your board on 3. 1, 2, 3. Spring Awakening. Oh gosh, I've not seen the show, but I've listened to the music a lot, and it's Duncan Sheik, incredible songwriter. I wrote Guys and Dolls.
Why Guys and Dolls?
Phenomenal soprano in there.
It
Adelaide.
is. I actually do not like Les Mis.
I hate Les Mis.
I hate Les Mis.
But again, was looking for a role that has belting in it, and there's some belting in Les Mis.
I will tell you though, I don't like Les Mis. I've done Les Mis. Gave me more respect for Les Mis, but I still don't like it.
I really don't like it.
But doing it is fun. It was fun because I love legit singing sometimes.
Sure.
But still not a fan.
Interesting. I really thought I stood a shot there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I like more contemporary musicals.
Interesting.
I've done Legally Blonde twice.
Legally Blonde came out recently.
Oh, Legally Blonde came out like 10, 15 years ago.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I think it came out in early 2000s, actually. Like
gosh.
mid-2000s, I should say.
Just got hot in here.
The original movie came out in the early 2000s, and I think Legally Blonde, the musical, came out maybe in like 09, 08. When I was in college, it came out. Because I remember either like senior year of high school, college, because I remember MTV did a competition about like Legally Blonde to find the new Elle Woods.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they find it through the show?
Yeah, and then the first time I ever did Legally Blonde, my Elle Woods was the girl who won that competition on MTV. Her name is Bailey.
You're serious?
Yeah.
That's the coolest. That's a great story.
In Walnut Creek, I did it.
You did it in Walnut Creek?
Yeah.
Oh, I had lunch in Walnut Creek last time I was around there, and I go, I should live here. And then
that is where all the rich whites live.
Well, so it's funny. I go, I should live here, and then my family friend who was there goes, she's like, yeah, so this is one of those places that neither of us can afford to live, but it's fun to go here. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay.
It's beautiful to shop and pleasant. And
I had some great ice cream there.
Fantastic.
It was lovely. Okay, for me, I'm debating because we could do the same question. I'm either thinking the same question or what is my least favorite musical. Which would you rather answer?
Ooh, it's so hard to pick a favorite.
So you want to go with least favorite?
Yeah, let's do least favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you any of those 3 if you get those. These are all ones I don't like. All right, okay. You ready? Flip your board on 3. 1, 2, 3, flip.
Ooh, I was going to say Showboat. That's so funny.
I really like South Pacific.
You like South Pacific? I knew it was going to be an old musical.
Yeah, I don't like Cats.
I hate Cats.
I don't like Showboat, and I
Cats.
don't like Brigadoon.
Oh, Brigadoon's terrible. Dude, I fucking hate Cats. I don't know why I didn't say Cats. That's definitely my least favorite musical.
You could have gone to any of these. I would have gone.
I hate Cats.
Why is Cats a thing?
It's so bad.
Do you want to know my favorite musical? I didn't want to do my favorite musical because I didn't think you'd get it.
You like South Pacific?
I do like South Pacific. It's not my favorite.
You have to be carefully taught.
I literally, so I sang.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I also studied voice in college, and I sang some South Pacific tracks. No, I never thought you'd get it. My favorite was not Broadway; it was off Broadway, and my favorite was Last 5 Years.
Last 5 years. Listen, I've seen the last 5 years.
Would you have gotten it if I was like, would you have guessed that for me?
Jason Robert Brown? Yeah, you look like a Jason Robert Brown guy.
Love JRB, baby. Love JRB.
You look like a Jason Robert Brown guy.
It's phenomenal.
Oh, I've sang. Oh, you know what? I didn't sing a song from Last 5 Years, but I have performed a song from Songs for a New World.
Yeah, also a phenomenal set of tracks there.
I took a trip while I was gone. That one.
You can sing to me anytime you want. It's fine. I'm not going to stop you. You still seem to have a lot of musical energy in you. You don't want to do musical theater anymore?
No, I do. I plan on going back. So when I was auditioning when I was younger, because of my body type, aka my tits, I
didn't notice them.
Yeah, I and my voice type, all the roles that I would go for are older roles, but I look too young. And so they're like, you're too young, you're too young, you're too young. So I was just like, whatever, whatever. So then when I started doing comedy takes a lot of time.
Yep.
And comedy and theater are at the same time.
Also true.
So I can't do both at the same time. Otherwise, I'm just going to be subpar at two things. And I was like, I would just rather be really good at one thing. And then once I feel comfortable in that thing, then I'll go back to the other thing. So, I'm on this comedy journey right now. And eventually I would love to do Broadway. Like, that's the dream.
I would love to see
I would love to do a run.
I would love to see you play a comedic lead that also gets songs, because for whatever reason, when you watch a lot of Broadway shows, the comedic character doesn't really get great songs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was cast as a character named Jeff in Brigadoon, and I was like, hell yeah!
That's
and then I look it up, and I look it up, not a single song, nothing, no songs, and I was like, that sucks.
You know who I have played in the Bay Area that I wouldn't mind playing on Broadway? Sophia from The Color Purple.
Can I tell you an embarrassing thing? Never seen the movie The Color Purple. Is that's probably real big miss?
I mean, it's not uncommon. Most whites never. I'm just kidding.
By the way, I love how we're both saying whites. I don't know how it started, but now we're both in it.
They obviously don't watch BET during Easter, where it's on repeat.
Can I tell you? So I don't remember what guest we had on when we talked about this, but when I was in high school, I was obsessed with 106 in Park.
Oh,
I watched it religiously. I watched with AJ and Free.
Lala? Oh,
AJ and Free were hosting back in the day. I'm a little older.
Lord.
But AJ and Free were my hosts, and were just, I watched. I would always wonder what was going to be the number one video that day. I was super into it, and then they had the freestyle battles with Jin, and I was just like there. I was in it, and it was just like became a very important part of like my day, was watching 106 in Park.
Hilarious.
So anytime someone's like, yeah, you probably didn't watch it, I'm like, I watched every day. I was also a diehard rap fan. You know what I mean?
But you should watch The Color Purple. Just FYI, like
I'm gonna cry, aren't I?
Yeah, and it's a saga. It's 3 hours.
What now?
It's 3 hours.
Okay, I don't want to go on like
it's two discs. Well, it used to be two VHSs.
Yeah, you just made yourself sound old.
No, but I'm telling you, it used to be two VHSs. Then they upgraded to DVD. It was 2 discs, and now you can just watch it straight through on any. I bet you can find it on a streamer or something.
I hate to do this, but are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the lightning round. This is 5 questions. They're fast questions. They do not at all have to be fast answers. I want you to take your time. Your family here. You know what I mean? When you're here, your family. Did I just come up with that?
You sound like Papa John.
It's Olive Garden.
With a little less inward.
Come on. Oh, boy.
Just a little.
He said a lot. He said, yeah, I think he said it a fair bit. Which also, by the way, then Peyton Manning was like, I'm going to do commercials for them. I'm like, are you sure? You sure you want to do that? I'm a Domino's guy myself. I don't.
Oh God.
And by the way, if anyone from New York is listening, I'm a New York pizza guy first and foremost. But when I can't get that, I'm going for Domino's. I don't need to defend myself, audience. Okay.
Desano's is better. I like Desano's.
What is Desano's?
It's here. It's on Santa Monica. It's really good.
Oh, I'm just talking about like chain pizza.
Oh, I'm sorry. They do have a chain. They have I think they have 2 other locations. They have one in Austin, which I'm like so excited.
Have you had Triple Beam? They're opening one in Santa Monica. I've not had it.
No, what is that?
Oh, just a famous like LA pizza place.
Oh, never heard of it.
All right. Well, here you go.
Yay.
Question 1. What is a favorite ritual of yours? So mine is brewing tea. What would one of yours be?
Home brewing tea.
Yeah, I love that. Makes me feel peaceful.
I guess in the morning I make my little protein oat milk.
It's fun. Tell me more. What are we? You just mix protein powder and oat milk? That's the whole thing?
Yeah, but it's in one of those blender bottles, and I have to do it in a very specific order.
Okay.
So I can't have the blender bottle already in the bottle. I have to have that separate, and I have to do the milk first, and then put the powder in, and then the ball, then close it, and then shake it.
Love it. Question 2. What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
So I have a new one with my boyfriend, but he showed me this crazy video of this like Indian dating show. And this woman is just like berating this man, like telling him he's terrible. He's not worth anything. La, 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 la.
Oh, no.
She goes up to him and slaps him. So he slaps her back. And then everyone like grabs him. And then she's like, oh. And he goes, how could she slap? How could she slap? And so occasionally he'll be like, how could she slap? It's like to me.
I mean, now I kind of need to see this clip. If I Google that, will I find it?
I'm sure you can find it if you do like, slap Indian dating show or something.
I don't know if I want that in my search results, but like, yeah. In my search history.
Indian dating show slap. That's fine.
Still feels inappropriate. We'll look for it. That is a good one. I like that. Question 3. Can you do an impression of one or both of your parents, and only bad impressions? We don't want good ones here.
Yeah, my dad, he's like, hey, my brother, how you doing? Like my dad. Okay. So my dog's name is Jasper, right?
Already love. Great dog name.
And he goes, when I call him on the phone, he's like, hey, baby, how's brother Jasper doing? Brother Jasper.
I honestly don't hate it. I don't hate it. How is Jasper doing? Now I have to know. Is Jasper doing well?
He's right. He's
great.
great.
Oh my God. Does your parents are still in the Bay, I imagine?
Yeah, both of them.
Do you bring the dog like up? Like, does your dad get to like hang with Jasper, or is he just kind of know Jasper from afar?
I've brought him up sometimes, but
Okay.
I go up there once a month to take care of my dad, but usually I just fly, so it's easier,
harder,
yep, to just not bring him. But
Okay.
I'm gonna go up in a couple weeks, and we're driving, so I'll bring him.
Yeah, listen, he and Jasper clearly have a bond.
Well,
Don't break it.
and it's my dad's birthday, so that'll be nice.
Happy birthday. What's your dad's name?
Raheem.
Happy birthday, Raheem. If you're listening, he's not going to listen. If you are. All right. Question 4. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there a particular moment that sticks with you?
That's interesting. I try not to.
I wish I didn't. Yeah, that would be lovely.
I guess so. I can't think of a specific moment, but us like hanging out, we hang out with some very cool people sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And like comedy is not like, it's not like theater. Like once you're at a certain level in theater, you never encounter the lower people. But in comedy, like you can be an open micer and encounter like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
So it's like crazy. Like there are levels, but like the levels cross all the time. And so every once in a while you find yourself in a room with all these like crazy famous headliners, And sometimes I can get a little like, whoa, what the hell?
Oh yeah.
But, for the most part, I try and just be like, they're just comics. They're comics like you. They've just been doing it a little longer. But you're going to be where they're at, so.
That's a phenomenally healthy attitude.
Well, I try not to like, I just had it a long time ago, like not to speak speak badly about myself because there's enough people in the world to do that for you. That's not your job. So like, that's their job.
That is I mean, put that on a bumper sticker. I'm ready. I'll put it on my car. I used to tell a lot of people this, and I still stand by this, which is you need to brag about yourself, because if you don't, no one's going to. So you need to, because I always tell my friends, celebrate the little victories that you have along the way. I'm I'm a huge advocate of that. Even if you have a big goal, break it down to smaller goals, celebrate the smaller goals. Because if you're not celebrating you, no one else is celebrating you. Because you set the standard for everyone around you. And if you set a standard that I don't celebrate me, well, I'm not going to celebrate you either.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to say positive things about yourself, because there's always going to be people who say negative things about you.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, why are you adding to that? Like, we don't need another person in the world who speaks negatively about you.
Yeah.
So like, speak positively about yourself. Like, it's like, that's their job, not your job. Your job is to, and it doesn't mean like in a delusional way.
Yeah.
Because some people, be real with yourself, but realistic about where you are. But you don't need to be like shitting on yourself. Like, you're doing fine. You're doing great.
I imagine you're really talking directly to me, and it feels good. I did see something the other day that I thought was interesting, which said, you are the main character in some group of friends group text. And I was like,
is that updated for 2023?
And I was like, that's interesting. They're like, you're a main character in someone's group text. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't see how I would be, but like, okay.
I'm the main character in all of them.
Yeah. I was like, I always hope if I'm appearing in anyone's group text, I always hope he's doing well. He was great. That's all I want. I don't want someone being like, that dumb mother, I don't want that. I want someone to be like, oh, him, I always whatever it is. He always had pretty eyes, whatever it is.
That's funny.
I want like a fleeting kind comment as the main character in someone's group text.
I always think about like, what would people say if I like died tomorrow? What would they say about me?
They would say that you were incredibly funny and fun to be around and very kind and a delightful person that we are all at a loss because you're no longer with us.
Tear.
Yeah, have me eulogize. I'm gonna cry. Are you booking for the eulogy? Because I'll send the tape.
God damn it!
I've got a good tight 10. Question 5, final question. What is your favorite tea or comfort?
Oh, my favorite tea is Earl Grey. Like, I went to Eastern Europe in 2018 and literally drank Earl Grey every day that I was there. I was there for 2 weeks.
I mean, Earl Grey's top tier. Earl Grey it's known and it's been around because it is a great tea.
I love a British tea. I love my tea with milk and a little sugar. Like, I'm very British in that way.
Good. We could have put milk in this.
No, it's fine.
Well, that's the pod. How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel steeped. And,
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You're steeped in it.
I'm so steeped. And, I had black tea, so I'm on brand.
I love it. Jihan, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. That was Jihan Sabir. You can follow her at jihan.sabir on Instagram and Jihan Sabir on Twitter. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping. I do think that, like, Norbert Leo Butz.
Norbert Leo Butz, his voice is like...
Why is he not a household name?
Because he's not attractive.
Oh, I think he's handsome.
Oh, boy.
Really? Not?
No. His voice is like an angel. His face is like a Butz.
Oh, no.